Hello, everyone. Welcome to this brief analysis of the parliamentary debate today, the second day of debating the no confidence motion moved on behalf of INDA yesterday. I'm going to undertake this reflection not from my perspective, but from the perspective of a young person, say a university or college going youth, fairly educated, somewhat aware of the national situation, concerned about where the country is headed, interested in what's happening in the parliament. An educated young person of this kind, how would he have experienced the parliamentary debate today? Perhaps the very first thing that would have struck me is the volte-face or the turnabout, the about turn that the BJP took. If yesterday the BJP was taunting Rahul for not speaking, today the BJP was seriously aggrieved that he did speak. Now, I'm not going to give you my impressions about how I rate Rahul Gandhi's speech, because that's not the thrust in this particular unit. Clearly, irrespective of the intrinsic merit of Rahul Gandhi's speech, his speech had a tremendous impact on the BJP. Now, the power of his speech can only be measured, or at least is best measured, in terms of the impact it has on the target audience. And in this case, the target audience is those on the treasury benches. It will not be an overstatement to say that the BJP was rattled, clearly rattled. It did not really know, in spite of the fact that they were prepared for Rahul Gandhi's speech and they had their strategies ready. That strategy misfired. I'll come to that in a moment. So what did they do? How would a young person assess the BJP strategies in countering Rahul? I think that's the heart of the matter today. First of all, they tried to belittle the impact of Rahul Gandhi's speech, which they experienced in an excessive manner. I'll come to the significance of that in a moment. They tried to belittle, quite unsuccessfully I must say, they tried to belittle the impact of Rahul Gandhi's speech by trying to reduce it to one particular casual gesture which he allegedly made after the speech was over and he was on his way out of the house. Now, let me try and explain this, the significance of this. I have to do this, or I'm venturing to do this because I'm pretty sure that you will not get such analysis from the mainstream media or from any channel. I underline the word any channel in the social media category either. What was the BJP trying to achieve by focusing entirely on Rahul Gandhi's alleged parting gesture towards the treasury benches? And predictably, obviously, they had scripted this scenario. Predictably, the BJP made much out of this. Some members of the treasury benches rushed to the speaker with a written complaint, so on and so forth. Now, they are doing it not because what Rahul Gandhi, they're genuinely upset about what Rahul Gandhi has done. They're doing it as a matter of strategy. And what is that strategy? The strategy is what in technical language is called synecdoche. Now, for those who do not know, synecdoche is a technique of reducing a large entity to a small one. For example, you should describe somebody as a loud mouth. What you're saying is that the other part of his personality doesn't matter. The only relevant part of his anatomy is his mouth. He is not deserving attention in terms of anything else. He's a big zero in respect of everything else. He only has a loud mouth. That's synecdoche. And this strategy is always used to denigrate and ridicule the person who is subjected to this synecdoche technique. It's a technical thing. Now, what is the intention? The intention is to reduce the whole of Rahul Gandhi's speech to this one casual gesture, if it has happened. I don't know if it has happened. I didn't see it. I was there till the end. Now, by doing so, the BJP wants to delete the whole of Rahul Gandhi's speech and make the whole country focus entirely on this one gesture, flying kiss. Right? That's the technique. Now, what have they done? Some women members of the Treasury benches took particular umbrage at this. They felt particularly offended. They've gone and filed a formal complaint. And I saw the minister, the lady minister who filed the complaint, or who led the delegation to take the grievance to the Honorable Speaker. And her statement was very interesting. She was not accusing Rahul Gandhi of making obscene sexual gestures towards him. She was only saying that sending flying kisses is an insult to Indian culture. In our culture, we don't do this. Now, my little knowledge of Indian culture makes me really believe that Indian culture is not squeamish about man-woman relationship. It is not very squeamish about the public display of affection or whatever. It's not even squeamish about the public display of sexuality, as in our sculptures, for example, Ajanta, Ellora, whatever it is. Sorry, not Khajuraho. Ajanta, Ellora is different. I'm very sorry for the slip of tongue. Now, or various other pieces of sculpture throughout the country. Now, how will a young person, after all, don't forget India is a young country and BJP cannot afford to overlook this fact. How will a young person look at this, look at the way the BJP has taken Rahul Gandhi's speech? Let's imagine a neutral young person. He will say, how very silly. What's so great about it? Why are they making such a fuss about such an insignificant thing? Why can't they have a sense of proportion? What sort of grievance is this? This is truly ridiculous. This is the only way a young person will react to this. In fact, the BJP has done, they think they have done a very clever thing by themselves. They think they have fired a shot. But actually, they have done a great disservice to themselves. They have exposed themselves. This is not the only way they have exposed themselves. They have exposed themselves by overreacting to Rahul Gandhi's speech. Frankly, if you ask me, I don't think Rahul Gandhi did very well in the parliament today. I would have expected him to do better. And why he did not do as well, I'll perhaps, if time permits, include in this video itself. And the BJP's reaction was far in excess of the actual merit of Rahul Gandhi's speech. In doing so, they unwittingly reinforced the power of his speech. Therefore, today when I think of Rahul Gandhi's speech, in light of how the BJP spokespersons reacted, I cannot help feeling that he did a fantastic job. He got them rattled. Though, if I sit back and ask myself, how did he get them so rattled? It's a bit difficult for me to say. But he clearly got under their skin, and they overreacted. Now, it's always a wrong strategy to overreact. Now, the next thing to ask is, what a young person will ask is this: why do these people overreact? Now, if that person has a little psychology, behavioral psychology, that person will say, whenever a person overreacts, that person or that group of people, they are betraying their insecurity, their nervousness, their lack of confidence. There is this principle in Newton's laws of motion: action and reaction are equal and opposite. When action and reaction are not equal and opposite, there is a problem. Here, clearly, the reaction is far in excess of the action, and that betrays the nervousness of the people who reacted. That's a scientific way I can actually put the situation. And that's how young people will understand it. I hope BJP is listening to me. Now, in this context, today I felt, now I'm going to speak for myself. Srimati Irani is somebody for whom I have both affection and some respect. Smriti Irani. There are personal reasons for it, which she doesn't know me. She may know me by name, but I have not had anything to do with her. But I've observed her from a distance, and particularly when she was the Minister for Human Resource Development. That was my nodal ministry. So I did pay a lot of attention to her, and I did form a positive impression about her. I felt really sorry for her. She was struggling. She was trying to be emphatic, dramatic, melodramatic, but it was very obvious that she was completely out of her depth. It's a pathetic thing to see a person of dignity like her belaboring herself, speaking or trying to speak very powerfully and passionately, evidently lacking conviction. That's a terrible combination in public speaking. At least in this particular domain, I have considerable experience, public speaking. I can tell you, if you try to be over-rhetorical about something that you don't feel convinced about, then the outcome could be very awkward. And that's exactly what happened to poor Smriti Irani today. I wish she did not have to do it, but it has happened. Anyway, I don't want to linger on with this. The other thing that a young person would have noticed today, and perhaps I should close on that, is that BJP is very cleverly trying to remove Sri Narendra Modi from the picture and trying to pit Amit Shah against Rahul Gandhi. Till recently, it was Rahul versus Modi, and Rahul stands no chance. Modi will sweep the floor, and Modi will make Rahul look like a novice, a miserable creature, nobody in front of him. The whole situation has changed, as I said yesterday. Now the BJP does not want to expose Sri Narendra Modi. They want to move, and they already have moved, Sri Amit Shah into that slot. So the equation that the BJP has created now is not Rahul versus Narendra Modi or Narendra Modi versus Rahul Gandhi. It is Rahul Gandhi versus Sri Amit Shah. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. How this is going to play out, we'll have to wait and see, but this is something you cannot miss, therefore I'm flagging it for you. Now, maybe I should use 3 or 4 minutes more and issue a piece of advice to Rahul Gandhi. I have to say that I was somewhat disappointed with Rahul's performance in the Parliament today, though I heard many people praise it, both in terms of its strategy and in terms of its rhetorical vehemence. I have to say, as an academic and also as someone who has tried to understand the science of rhetoric as well as practice it in my own fashion, that I was a bit disappointed. Not sorely disappointed, because I don't want to exaggerate my sentiments. I want to be absolutely truthful and sincere in what I'm saying. But I was disappointed. Why was I disappointed? I was disappointed because Rahul Gandhi became too shrill, too loud. Now, there is a problem there, and that is, when you become shrill, you lose your intellectual control over the situation and the matter. I say this as someone who has experience in this field. The real quality of a successful, effective, competent public speaker is that he is in complete control of both his matter and his emotions. If you allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the moment, overwhelmed by the theme, overwhelmed by the context, by the nuances, then you lose your game. Now here, I have to say that I like Sri Narendra Modi's rhetoric. He speaks with much deliberation. Occasionally, he also tends to cross that golden middle path. But for the most part, you'll find him very speaking with great deliberation. And he gives you the impression that he's in complete control of what he's talking, and therefore he's also in complete control of the total scenario, including the audience. And he slowly nudges his audience to a point from where he begins to play on them like an expert violinist on the string. Now, that to me is a very healthy practice of the art of rhetoric. So, I would advise Rahul Gandhi to cut down a little on the emotional side, regulate his tone and his temper a little more, and preserve the equipoise, the equilibrium of a controlled aggression. You need rhetoric, you need power when you speak, particularly speak on an occasion like this. And he was certainly speaking on a very emotional subject. He's someone who's gone to Manipur and directly experienced, unlike Narendra Modi, directly experienced the suffering of the people, and he has a compassionate heart. BJP may not like my saying it, but that's a fact. The fact cannot be denied. He has a feeling heart, that's his strength. But he should not let his strength become his weakness. That's the point I'm making. And I'm saying this out of affection for him. So in this country, nobody criticizes or makes a critical observation about somebody whom you like. I feel that I should do exactly the opposite. I should tell the truth to someone because I care for him or her. Rahul Gandhi could have done much better. But I'm sure that he'll be the wiser for this experience, because he's someone who reflects on every experience that befalls him. And I'm sure he would reflect on it tonight and come to his own conclusions. The second thing I want to say is, I did not like his leaving the parliamentary debate in the hurry that he did. I know that he had an assignment in Rajasthan, but these assignments are man-made. They're not ordained from heaven. The parliamentary debate is the most important thing happening at the moment in this country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi may not care for it, but that's no reason why Rahul shouldn't care for it. In fact, he would have done much better had he stayed on. I would like all members of parliament to take parliamentary proceedings more seriously. Unfortunately, people are making a joke out of it. The entire parliamentary proceeding, I have to say that I found it very difficult to sit through the whole of it, because the gravity, the solemnity, the dignity, the intellectual aristocracy that I expect from a parliamentary proceeding, particularly proceeding as momentous and important as this one, was conspicuously absent. People behave with such immaturity, I'm afraid. I'm sure all well-meaning people in this country would be disappointed today at what transpired in the parliament. Well, there are many other things to be said, but there's a limit to how much one can include in a small video like this. Therefore, I conclude, on the whole, rather disappointing. May tomorrow be better. Well, tomorrow can only be better. Thank you.